Hey, greetings YouTube, Performance Reviews, where I give you the review from the technician's point of view. But today we're going to just be doing a vlog. And I have some interesting machines here. But before we get started, I hope you all had a happy 4th of July, as I did. And if you followed us on other platforms, you may have seen some fireworks. But let's get to what we saved here in Vacuum Saved. Ooh, this Dyson. You know, you don't see Dysons on the channel very often because I really don't like them and they're just overall bad vacuums. But this one was in disrepair and it was traded in for a Henry. So I say trade in, they just gave it to me for scrap. So I, interesting enough, put it in the dishwasher and got it really, really clean, which I was half expecting the cyclone assembly to melt. I got everything super clean on this. So it is good to go. And I will be editing a repair video on this. Yes, there's going to be a 4K repair video on this. And I'll be posting that as well. Now, when I first saw this, I thought this was a DC41. This is actually a DC40 size. But it has the DC65 improved upon nozzle. So kind of an interesting collection of parts when they went to the UP19. So this machine currently, I'm awaiting a HEPA filter, so I'm not actually going to run this today, but I'm going to actually do like a whole review video on this. You're going to see a lot of content on this machine, so you'll be sick of this machine in a little bit's time anyways. So next I want to show what I got at a thrift store, because it is cool and weird and bizarre. So I was thrifting after dinner with the wife, and we both like to go thrifting. She looks for like teacups and things like that. I always take a look for vacuums. And would you know it, it was what I thought was a central vacuum. But no, this is a garage vac by Vacuum Mate, which means this is a central vacuum, a very small one, without the low voltage circuit. So if you see here on the side, we just have an on-off switch and a circuit breaker. It's made in the US. The date code was on here. It's 2016, so it's not that old, but it's really cool and weird. Let's plug her in. Now, I don't have the hose with this, and because I was being cheap, I was like not going to even buy bags for this. Instead, what I decided to do was take a George bag and stick it in here. So the bigger pneumatic bag, well, that fit in here like a glove, and it is just perfect. There is also this piece that says do not remove. This goes under if you're wondering what's rattling about. So, of course, when this sits on the wall, that's just fine. It's just like an airflow glide. Now there is the little part for when they also make the same piece into an interceptor. So super weird, super interesting. And it says completely expand bag on lid. Now, the guy at the thrift store dropped the lid and dented it, unfortunately, but it wasn't in perfect condition. So the other weird thing I'd like to point out is there is this insert here, and this allows you to use it as a blower. So it's a blower and a garage vac. Really super strange. I have no practical use for this other than to show off in the collection. You know, I might not have a hose, but I have a working vacuum gauge, so let's see what she does. Like 114 sealed. Like 82 inches working. That's freaking ridiculous. And you know, if you put pipes on this, you're not really going to lose any as well, but it's just not meant for that. But it's kind of cool if you want something, you know, to hang in your garage and you had a detached garage. This is a cool machine. Or even if you don't have a central vacuum in your house and you were just wanting something powerful without having to waste time and effort on a drag behind tragedy, I think this is kind of a cool option. There are quite a few of these out there now. VacuumMate's not the only one who makes this. There's the InnerVac Garage Vac, which you might be seeing on the channel a little later. And then HP Industries also has one under the vacuum. I think they call it Vroom. No, they don't call it a vacuum flow. It's called a Vroom. It's actually like a plastic Vroom as well. Heck, I also got this Kirby, which is, well, it's a color I wanted for a long time. And this, again, this one just kind of fell in my lap. So I'm excited about that. I love this color and this bag combination with the teal. The symbol on the bag is the same symbol you see on the alien ships in Prometheus. So don't know if that means anything, but it's kind of fun. And the machine is in good condition. It's a little scratched up. It could maybe use some buffing, but you know, it's shiny enough. I don't really want to go through the effort of buffing it. It's good to go. Slapped a belt on it. It does need a new cord. And unfortunately, that color just isn't available right now. I don't know if it's officially discontinued or if it's just not available through third-party distributors like Esco and Steel City. So I'm really sad and bummed about that. The other thing is it came to me with a busted yoke. And the yoke, you might notice, if you're a Kirby person, the yoke is the wrong color. Well, they busted the yoke clear off. And they had a used yoke from a regular Centria, so I slapped that bad boy on there. And it was good to go. The other thing is it came with some accessories, which is cool. You know, that's cool. I don't have the shampooer, but I got everything else except for the manual. And it came with this owner's manual. Now, this all would be curious of a lot of different things, except it had a Bojack sticker on it. It came from Dick's Vacuum Shop, and I'm not making that up. The place was literally called Dick's. And boy, are they a bunch of dicks. They apparently charged this poor lady $1,000 for a refurbished Kirby. Anyways, it was just the wrong vacuum for her. She actually ended up buying 2 Sebo E3s, which is kind of nice. She has one for each house now, and I think that's a much better vacuum in all possible metrics. But, you know, hey, I got our Kirby now, and I'm kind of just excited to have another Kirby. You know, I don't actively go out of my way to find most vacuums, but let alone Kirby's, they're so common. And I've passed up quite a few Generations and Centrias and things, but this color was one that I really wanted, and I'm glad to have it. So let's fire it up and, well, we know how it cleans. It's a Kirby, but let's vacuum with it. Well, that didn't do as well as I thought it would do. And you know, after slapping a new belt on that, I'm just really surprised. Well, the roller's good. It was adjusted all the way low. I kind of thought this would out-clean the Kirby, at least with the fine sand. And I can clearly see where this was leaving stuff behind. A lot of people really talk this machine up as a pretty powerful vacuum. So, now I must know what the numbers are, because I have no idea. So we're going to switch her on over. And we're going to see how much working vacuum the ClearTrak has. And maybe get to the bottom of this. Ha ha ha. Now, who would have thunk that this Amway ClearTrak got 20 inches of working vacuum? About what that Kirby gets on high. Kirby gets a little less when you put the nozzle on it. It runs at a lower speed. But that's really low. I mean, that's Dyson hand vac low. And when you use this, it's got way more agitation. This will clean carpet a lot better. But still, it's just wow. I really wasn't expecting that. And, you know, a lot of people, both Nathan and Reggie really kind of talked this machine up. And I think it's better than a Dyson, but damn, it's not cleaning as well as I expected. And, you know, I'm spoiled. I'm used to a central vacuum, and I'm used to, like, really high-end Euro canisters. So I guess it makes sense. But I really thought this thing was just going to clean so much better than it did. And I don't know a lot about this machine because bagless machines like this are not my forte. And these, I've really only seen like 2 or 3 others in the wild over the years. The last one I saw in the wild actually gave to Reggie. And I wouldn't have had this one if Aunt Sylvia hadn't just kind of dumped this one on me. So, yeah, I'm a little surprised, but I'm not entirely surprised being, you know, bagless trash. I guess it isn't trash. It's fairly well made for a bagless cleaner, but still, ugh. So let's see if I can get this bin assembly out, because there we go. All right, so there's the bin assembly. Show you what's in it, because why the heck not? It's kind of the fun of a bagless cleaner. You can see the crap. Yeah, so I mean, it picked up what was left behind, but it left, you know, picked up a lot of the sand. You know, it did. I guess for a bagless cleaner, it is cleaning pretty well, but shit. You know which one I'd like to get my hands on, but I would never get one unless it was new in the box, or like it was from Grandma and Grandpa type of customer. Would be an Auric Touch. They cleaned well. The bin was so small that they were kind of ineffective. I will definitely say, out of the two, the Kirby cleans better. And I don't say that very often. I'm just astounded. But again, given the numbers on this machine, that explains a whole lot. Of course, I'll take just about anything over these two. So now, even though I have a Kirby and I have this machine, I was going to go run something through the house. I want to run something special or different through the house. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to end up using my central vacuum, because I don't want to go through the hassle of lugging this thing up the stairs. I know that sounds incredibly lazy on my part, but I just don't. I'm going to vacuum down here with it, and that will give me my joy of Kirby usage, and I'll call it good. Now, my allergies are going off, and that's mostly because, if you don't know this, the ClearTrak doesn't have a post-motor filter. And, well, it don't have much for a pre-motor filter either. That's kind of ridiculous that that's all the filtration that this has. Again, I guess it's adequate for the era. You know, this would have been in the early 90s. This would have been up there with the best of bags, but still, holy shit. The fact that they never gave this thing at least like a tumor up here is amazing. But again, knowing that the motor is not as strong as urban legend makes it out to be, that all makes sense from an engineering point of view. So I hoped you enjoyed my little quick vacuum saved July, post-July 4th edition, and seeing some actual American vacuums in this video. Believe it or not, the Amway ClearTrak, the Vacuum-Aid, and this Kirby are mostly made in the United States. The Kirby probably being the most globally outsourced of all of them at the current moment. And again, that just has to do with not being able to get certain things. But they're all, you know, a good 80+% made in the United States, with the exception of the Dyson, which was made in Malaysia, maybe by adults. We'll have to let those labor allegations settle before we figure out if it was adults or children making them. Anyways, well, thanks for watching. Hit that bell notification. Definitely hit the thumbs up if you like this sort of content. And if you like this sort of content, this content is 100% done by our Patreon supporters. We fix all the vacuums up with the donations from our lovely patrons who help make this sort of thing happen. Because vacuum belts don't grow on trees, neither do vacuum filters, and all sorts of miscellaneous parts. So what we do for them is we give them early access, we give them some exclusive content. Have yourself a wonderful day.